Good morning. Welcome to the weekly Wednesday wisdom call. It is the day before Halloween. I'm way off. Holy smokes. Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Maybe that's the scary part of love. Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway. Holy smokes. My name is Marty Forrest. My website is Hello Extraordinary Life. If you have not been on the website, go check it out. There is a free ebook on the landing page. 3 steps to reprogramming your negative self-talk. You can check out the Work With Me page, which includes work with me personally and privately, and also a 6-week course that I'm looking at maybe the middle of March, beginning that 6-week course. It'll probably go 7 weeks because I have a break in there somewhere, but six hours, and whatever you decide to put into it in between the call. That's how life is. What we get out what we input. So same as our computers. Amazing how that goes. Today we're talking about, I titled it, I am she, she is me. And I started that with a client who has canceled at the last minute, didn't show up for the last one, and then let me know the next day that she hit this wall of depression and whatever. It's always something, right? There's always something. She's like I look at her and I go, she's like a leaf on the wind. Life just blows her wherever, and she reacts to life instead of responding. And I'm pondering this and I'm thinking about it. I know I need to give her a call and find out, let's get real about this and find out if you really want to continue coaching or not kind of conversation. And somewhere in that whole mental process, I realized that is me. She is me. I have been that woman in the world where I didn't take any consideration of anyone else's feelings or schedule or no respect for the time. And that's just one way it shows up. Just happened to be that I was reflecting on that relationship I have with her and realized, wow, that's been me in my life, and I don't do those things anymore. I don't behave that way anymore. But I did. I did for a long time until I didn't. And then I followed up with an email, given that tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and this is all about self-love, loving ourselves from the inside out, with an email about if you spot it, you got it. It's a common saying we hear. Maybe not so common, but it's a saying that I've heard before. I usually think about the things that I don't really like about myself when I think of that statement. If you spot it, you got it. And I hear it and I get all nasty about it like that. Because I'm looking at the things I don't like, where I sit in judgment or where someone looks at me and looks me up and down and then say nothing. No compliment, no nothing. They just look me up and down. You know those people. You do it too. I do it too. I look at them and say nothing and then leave them wondering if they're that conscious about it. Why didn't she say something? Or did she not like my dress? Did she not like my shoes? Those thoughts can come in my brain. I think we all do that. And the flip side of that coin is all the beautiful things that we see about people, the things that attract us to people, men or women. It's not a gender thing. We're attracted to people. We see the beautiful things, and possibly we judge ourselves about it because maybe we would like to possess that characteristic or personality trait that we think we don't have. Here's the truth about that, is we do have it. We absolutely possess those character traits and those personality things and those beautiful, amazing things about other people. Because we couldn't see them. We would not be able to see it if we did not possess those within ourselves. Sometimes I think about people who do mean, cruel things, and I just think, that's just not me. I am just not like that. How can they do that? Well, here's another truth. That is me. I can do that. I don't go there. I don't look at it. I don't like it. And I want to disown it. But here's a story for you. I was watching something. This was the last time I really got into a rage. And it was a program we were watching about animals, vultures, in the Serengeti. And these people were poisoning the animals. The vultures were eating the dead animals, and within 20 minutes, they were dropping out of the sky by the hundreds, dying. Instantly, I was enraged. And where I went, this is where I got to see that shadow part of me that I don't acknowledge very often. I wanted to give them the poison and watch them die. That's how angry I got. And it scares me when I get that angry. I think, oh, and then I become them, right? It's the same thing. We think, oh, we sit in judgment about what they do. But when I get really honest about it, I get that angry. And in that moment of anger, I don't think I would ever do something like that. But when I'm that angry, I have those thoughts. You see people going off with road rage or doing things that maybe they wouldn't normally do when they're not in a rage or they're not in a depression. And when we really look at ourselves, we are capable. We're all capable of doing those things too. It's whether or not we ever take any action on it. It's being honest with ourselves and acknowledging that part. Interesting. I was not planning to go in this space today. It was really about the whole loving part, but this is the part where we get to really look and love ourselves enough to look at that shadow part. Stop sitting in judgment about other people and what they do, because I don't know why they do it. I don't know what their life story is. But generally, what will trigger me about someone and trigger other, is true for anyone. I say about me, but it's true for any person. What triggers us is something wounded in us got touched. We don't want to look at the wound. We don't want to address the wound. Now we sit in a place of judgment to protect ourselves. When you're seeing something about someone, simply ask, what is this about me? What am I seeing about me that I either love? Sometimes we don't want to look at that either. But if I'm seeing beautiful things about you, where is that in me? It's a place to really look and become more loving to ourselves. Oh, how do I possess that beautiful thing? Her smile, like my friend is on this call this morning. I see her smile, her eyes that shine so brightly when I see pictures. Like, how is that me? Oh, I have a beautiful smile too, and I sparkle sometimes. So that there's that reflection. And when we're really looking at how do we want to become more authentic, more loving to ourselves, more kinder to ourselves, looking at the things where we want to shine some light. Because a lot of what drives us is that unconscious part, which is where we get into that place of judgment. Because our unconscious is driving our behaviors. And we don't want to really look at just what we do. And then we see it in someone else. We're like, ew, I don't like that. Why do they do that? Well, maybe I need to ask the question of, why do I do that? Or how do I do that? And if I'm not really liking that, how do I want to be different? How can I make that behavior or change that behavior to be something that I like to be about me? Sometimes the behaviors are about let me say this carefully, because sometimes the behaviors that drive us are really about the motivation behind it. I was speaking to this when I was talking about being responsible. And when I'm taking responsibility in my codependent, enabling way, I thought I had to be responsible for you and me. And I would try to change me and pretzelize me to make you happy, thinking that if I just change everything about me, then I'm responsible for everything about me. I'm compromising everything about me to make you happy, because I think that's going to make you happy. And people pleasing, doing things that I think I have figured out my husband, and I think it's going to make him happy how I behave. It never works. It was never enough. Not my current husband, but in those dysfunctional places. My point of this is, when I started dealing with my own people-pleasing issues and how I showed up in that way, and I started becoming a whole, complete, I love myself person, I have a lot of the same caring, nurturing, loving behaviors. The motive behind them is not about pleasing you, though. The motive is, this is who I am. This is what makes me me. And I really love this about me. I really love that place that I get to be compassionate and kind and loving to people. And the driver is not the people-pleasing, enabling driver that used to be. That's the distinction. We may show up the same way, but when we look at what's driving it, what's driving the behavior, and we flip it, or we realize that we are a whole, complete person, not needing someone else's approval, our motive changes. Our motive that drives our behaviors change. And the behaviors of caring, nurturing, loving, compassionate, kindness, we do them because we have them for ourselves, and we want to share that with other people. When it's the other side of the coin and I'm doing the people-pleasing behavior, it's because I need something from you. I need you to feel, to like me or to be okay with me so that I can be okay with me, because that was how I measured my value. Today, it's very different. It's very different to be in a place of, I love me enough to get on these calls every week and share what I've experienced, what happens in my world, and how I walk through it, because that's how I love me today. And then I get to share that with you. And then hopefully my purpose is that you would be able to apply it in your own life. Little by little, this is the place, here's the invitation for today, here's the place to be kind to yourself. If you see that you're not been kind to yourself, here's a place to be kind to yourself and take little steps. They're baby steps. You used to think I should just be able to flip a switch and be different, and that's just not how we work as human beings. It's incremental. And we can build some kind of a little account for ourselves where we have some kindness, and then when we're not, we get to take on the account. We get to pull out of that account and remind ourselves. And sometimes that's our own reprogramming. Sometimes that's our friends coming into our world and helping us. Sometimes it's a coach. Sometimes it's just reading something maybe that we wrote for ourselves some other time that reminds us. Many, many ways. But when we're looking out there, just remember that we possess that within ourselves, whatever it is. And then to ask ourselves, how am I that? And do I like that about me? And if not, what do I want to do different? And I can't see the time, but I think I'm going to end there. I said a whole lot of stuff. I covered a lot in a few minutes. So I would love to hear what you got, how that resonated. Did it resonate?
It did resonate for me in the fact that oftentimes I have conversations with my mother where all she does is gripe and complain, and it makes me crazy. It's like, wow, there is no positiveness. And I think back, and it's like, there are a lot of times when that's all I wanted to do was just call her and complain about my life, because I just wanted a little compassion, a little understanding, somebody just to listen to all of the garbage. And, of late I seem to have attracted those type of people that are very negative, and that's all they do is complain, and nothing is right, and it's and I don't know if they're just coming from a place where they just need somebody to listen to them. But, in the same token, I have to be true to myself, and sometimes that doesn't work. Like being surrounded by the negative energy, it's like, I just can't do that right now. I need to have the positive instead of the negative, because it just can be crushing.
It's exhausting.
Yes, and having my downfall is, being a people pleaser. I don't want them to get mad at me or dislike me, because I just don't want to be around the negative energy. And so I don't say anything,
Yeah.
I just simply don't say anything.
There's a couple things. Would you like some tips?
Yes.
Because there's a couple things you could do. One of them is walk away. That's really uncomfortable. But it's honoring ourselves.
Yeah. Without saying anything?
Yeah. Well, I got to go now.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's us respecting us enough to say, this is not where I want to put my time and energy. The other thing that is a learning, it's learning how to redirect the conversation. What's a wonderful thing that's happened in your world today? Tell me something good about your life. Just simply shift the direction.
Yeah.
I've had people actually do it to me when I'm complaining, and they're in the practice of that, and they'll just simply go, "Oh my gosh, you have such beautiful eyes." Totally stops my complaining and redirects my focus. It disrupts that conversation. And yes, I have done all of those things, and they work. When I'm walking away from someone, I just politely excuse myself. Or, you could get really honest about it and go, I'm hearing a lot of negative things and a lot of complaining. Is there anything good going on? And it's hard. It's really hard when people are in the habit of complaining.
Yeah.
Because that's their habit, and often they'll go in that direction and then come back to the complaining, because that's where they're comfortable.
Yeah, my husband does that like every day. He comes home and complains about work.
I've read this before, where when your mate comes home, rather than ask them how was their day, change the question.
Tell me something wonderful that happened today.
Yeah, what was good in your day today?
Okay.
Or what did you learn today? Just
if I asked him what he learned today, I'd need to sit down for 2 hours so he could.
Oh, well, okay, then let's not have that one. But
yeah, but
you understand the context is
yes.
to shift, because we say, how was your day? And that's just our habit to say, how was your day?
Right.
And then their habit is to complain.
Yes.
Change the question.
Yeah, because he'll always ask me, how was your day? And then later on in the evening, he'll say, did I ask you how your day was? So I know he didn't listen.
We do that too.
Yeah.
We do that too sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's, but yeah, those are a couple things that you can do. And really, yes, you can walk away from people.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't have energy for this. Just get real. Own it.
Mhm.
I don't have energy for this. And can we talk later? Because you know what happens is those people stop coming to you to complain. And sometimes they're drawn to the light. If you're a light person and you listen really well, sometimes you just want someone to listen. And maybe, I remember us having a conversation once, and you asked me a question. I said, I'm not done. I need to vent right now. So maybe ask them, what do you need from me right now? Do you need me to just listen? Are you venting? Are you committed to your complaining? What's the solution?
Okay.
There's many, many tips, but any one of them can, you know, in the moment you can pull out and practice it. And it's not comfortable.
No.
It's unfamiliar. It's unfamiliar for you, so it just can be uncomfortable when we test drive new behaviors. But when it starts, you see the benefit of it and the value, and they start seeing it, they'll start coming at you differently, or just not at all, because you stop engaging with them.
Yeah. Like I would rather not interact than interact about all the negativeness. It's just
right. Yeah. Yep.
I get surrounded by it at home. You get it occasionally in the massage room, but
right. Sometimes that's just the therapy in the massage room.
Exactly.
For them to just
and that's different for me. When I'm in that room, totally different.
Yep. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I'm going to stop the recording here.